Hey everybody, welcome to episode 10 of season 1 of Where's That Bar Cart? I'm Darryl Purvis.
I am Nick Durie.
Monty Scott.
Today we have a very funny comedian and TV broadcaster and actor, Gina Louise Phillips. You might have seen her on SCOREGolf Canada.
And American Gods.
She also writes for SCOREGolf.
Yep.
And we're going to hear a little bit about how she got started and all that, and her golfing career, I guess you could call it, and a few other things. Very funny guest. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this one.
And just another, like, a kind of a string of guests who have like a very positive relationship with the game, who don't let the game of golf mess their head up too much.
As opposed to us, three people who have a very negative relationship. I always think of golf as my mother.
I often think of it as the movie Apocalypse Now, when you're getting that Vietnamese cave and you're just, a lot of brooding.
Golf is your mother and comedy is your father.
Well, that's not. I had a good relationship with my father,
okay,
so that's not
weird. Yep. Good, fun, excellent intro to a golf comedy podcast. Getting into personal, familial.
I thought that's why we're here. I thought this was finally the episode where we discuss my relationship with my parents.
But, do you guys mind if I light off some firecrackers to end this? I am indoors, but I will risk it.
I thought you were using a metaphor. You meant literal firecrackers.
Yeah, indoor firecrackers. That's what it's all about, Canada.
Monty just bought his second 55-inch TV. I think he really wants his little apartment to be Times Square. He's just
yeah, I've been rolling a promo for one of my comedy shows. Unfortunately, I can only see it, but I'm the only one who wants to see it.
It's called 110 inches of flat screen.
Coming at you.
Thank you very much for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I've been wanting to talk golf like at all times of the day, so this was perfect timing. I'm in golf mode right now because I was away for a while and I wasn't golfing, and then now I'm like back to where my clubs are, and I'm so pumped for the season. So this is perfect time.
Have we started recording?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've started recording, just so you know. We're not very good of starting the podcast. We're only 10 in.
It's very smooth transition. Very smooth.
Strangely, that was the smoothest we've done so far, I would say. Usually about the 8-minute mark, someone goes, "Are we recording this?" Because they can't believe it.
Yeah, we kind of come out of the car rolling is how we start the podcast.
Yeah, I did listen to one of your podcasts, and it was I listened to other ones as well, but one of them was you guys immediately just jumped into the guest. It was like, "Hi, okay, so
that would be all 8 other ones or 9 other ones. That's pretty much how it goes."
That's funny.
But thank you for listening to one.
Yes, thank you. Which one was it, actually, out of curiosity?
It was the one with well, he's gay, because it was all about pride.
Vaughn.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was really
he
good.
was so much fun to listen to, and it was great. And
like the only guest I think we'll ever have who's never played a stroke play round of golf in his life.
Which I was like, I wonder when they're going to talk about golf.
Yeah. I think he was trying to avoid that as long as he could.
I think so. I think so.
I was most intrigued by Vaughn's knee exploding. I was like, like his body was rigged.
Yeah. You can't just like mention that and expect it not to be, delved upon in a podcast. Jeez.
And then he spoiled the gay tennis game from the idea that he took up the whole court, lying there.
It's a big knee.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you joining us from, Gina? I know you said Mountain Time, but where?
I'm in Calgary right now.
And have you played golf this year?
Yes, I just played. I played Wolf Creek in Ponoka, which was my first time playing that course, and it was like very links style, like many non-mountain courses, but in Alberta are, like a lot of Calgary courses are like that. And it was really hard. Like it was so hard. Oh my gosh. I was like, why did I start with 18 holes of that for my first round? But I just happened to be in Edmonton. So like on our way back, I was like, let's stop at Wolf Creek. It also poured rain twice. Like we had to go in and seek refuge in like a little shack a few times. But then like the sun would come out and rainbows would come out and we'd be back to golfing. And then we'd have to just like dark clouds would roll in 10 minutes later and then start raining again. It was pretty wild as a first round for sure.
That's not bad. It's interesting they had refuge shacks available on the course.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it was just someone's house.
Excellent.
Get yourself
golf.
a drink, some snacks. And
Yeah.
perfect.
It's incredible hospitality.
Yeah. In a fridge, they had a shower. It was great.
But it's not breaking into a house if it's raining.
Exactly.
It's Canada. The weather just, we need different rules here. At any point in time, you can see to someone's house.
I think that's on the welcome to Scarborough sign. That's
Yeah.
If it's raining, we're trying doors.
Oh God.
Did you start playing golf as a kid? Did you take it up as an adult? How did you get into it?
So I played it real casually as a kid, like once a year kind of thing. But I always liked it. Like it was always exciting when we would go. And then I just came from sort of an active family that did all the things. I was very lucky for that reason. And then I dated someone in high school, or no, university. It's hard to tell. And then he was really into golf. So I golfed like like 4 times a year, and then didn't for a while because I moved from Calgary to Toronto. So I grew up in Calgary. And then I got the job at SCOREGolf. So this is like a crazy thing for me to suddenly be the host of SCOREGolf. I appreciate golf. I like sort of followed golf. I understood golf, but I wasn't regularly playing. So that's when I was like, oh, like I'm gonna buckle down and really embrace this game on a whole other level. And it happened naturally because first off, we had sponsorships and things like I got given amazing clubs and all the clothing you could possibly have and like 10 pairs of golf shoes. Golf is a crazy industry for all the free stuff that companies hand out. So I kind of had it made in terms of that. And then I was on golf courses talking about golf so much that I just sort of naturally like was thinking about golf all the time and just wanted to get better and better at it. So that's when I really got addicted to it.
What were you like on the golf course, like before, when you were just sort of playing it casually versus when it was your job now? And like, did you feel more pressure? Did you have to ramp up your practice? Like, did you feel like you had to be a really good player?
Well, okay. Unfortunately, I didn't change much my attitude. I would always was like, I'm just here to have fun. And I felt like I really buckled down on that attitude as a means of survival in the golf industry. Like almost to a detriment. I like looking back, I was like, I didn't have to be so self-deprecating, laughing all the time, just not, I think I didn't take it seriously so that like everyone's expectations were the lowest that they could possibly be,
Right.
So I kept that attitude of like, whatever, I don't know golf. Just because I talk about golf doesn't mean I'm amazing at golf. And I grew tired of that. So I imagine like some people that I was golfing with maybe did too, right? Like I was golfing with people who like really appreciated golf, and so did I. But I think my whole like I need to explain that I'm not actually a serious golfer, just it grows tired after a while. So I think my shift happened maybe on the 3rd season of SCOREGolf. I realized no one cares what your golf game is. Like no one cares. Everybody is thinking about themselves, and any extra narrative that you're like saying about your golf game on the golf course or putting yourself down or laughing when you miss shots it's just extra, and it's a little, I think it's a little grating. So I actually like stopped doing that. I started going to the range a bit more. I stopped laughing at myself, and my game improved from that little personality switch a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny too, right? Like as a woman, like not to make it about gender, but there is an element of like, and there's so many women I talk to too. Now I know tons of female golfers, but back then I didn't really. And a lot of women are like, oh, it's just like, it's not for women. Like there's sort of an attitude like that. I think it's changed a lot. But again, this was like 6 years ago, 5 years ago. And the pandemic has added so many years onto everything. But like back then, and in my circles, it was sort of like, whoa, you're just there. That's awesome. You're a woman in golf. You're already doing it. But I'm like an athletic person. So it was frustrating for me to be working in an industry, the one in the sport that I wasn't that good at. Like that's it's so strange.
Totally.
So I had to just stand my ground. First off, be okay with not being great. And then also, you know, paving the way, not that I paved the way, but like, that's such a ridiculous thing to say.
Brooke Henderson thanks you for everything you did for her.
Oh my God, right? Oh, geez.
If it wasn't for you, Dottie Pepper wouldn't be on the air today.
No woman golfed before me. Okay. I am the one. I am the only one. So yeah, the like just sort of showing up and taking it seriously just because you enjoy it, not to make a statement, not to do it for anyone else, just because you actually enjoy being there. I think that's important, because then it's infectious. I got a few of my friends golfing that had never tried golfing before, or maybe their husbands golf, their boyfriends golf, but they were like, yeah, it just seems like really like not a thing I would be interested in. And I'm like, oh, let's go together and then we'll see how you feel. And a lot of them kind of converted that way.
I think for a long time, men tried to make it a thing that women didn't enjoy.
Right.
Yes.
And that didn't help. I remember like when we were kids, mid 40s, 1950s, there's well, I just remember like there was a real negativity, men and junior boys, towards women. But then it's funny because we started playing with some of the other female juniors who were better than us, and then suddenly you're all like, you know what are we doing here? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's really weird, right? And sometimes it's just cues that women pick up, and maybe no one in maybe their husband has never, maybe he's invited her every time, but when she's gone, the superintendent or someone at the course just assumes that you're not playing. Like I've had like, there's little I don't know, sort of cues that we're not idiots. We're like, so maybe we aren't welcome here. And it's just small things like, oh, you drive a golf cart? Whoa.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Oh, absolutely. Like I got in the driver's side of the golf cart. I mean, oh my gosh, I have like a million stories. I'm not going to tell them all in here because that's not the focus, but like getting into the driver's side of the golf cart.
We want to hear them all.
Yeah, well, yeah. And someone that worked there was like, oh, hey, you're driving today. Okay, sweetie.
I will say that I play golf with my wife on Sunday. And there was one point when I went to get in the golf cart, the driver's seat. She's like, oh, you're driving just because you're the man? And I was like, okay. I was like, okay.
I honestly thought women had to have a license to drive a golf cart.
They have to have a license to play golf.
Yeah.
Honestly, it should all be regulated, because those women out there are wild. They need to be under control.
So any listeners out there who had 9.5 as the over under of how many episodes Monty would last, he made the over.
Listen,
Getting canceled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
I can count on two hands the amount of times women have hit me with golf carts. It's a very personal subject for me. One time I was at the mall. was looking at Skechers. Got hit from behind. Woman in a golf cart, out of control. She was gone. Talked to the security.
Yeah,
couldn't
they'll
find
do
her.
that.
Security couldn't find her.
Couldn't
The woman
find
in
her.
the golf cart in the mall
You couldn't
in
catch it.
Scarborough.
Does anyone get the license plate of that woman that hit me with a golf cart? No.
She's too quick. She's too quick.
She had a running start, and I was hit from behind. So,
But it
Oh, man.
probably,
sorry. One thing
Sorry.
I'd say, Gina, is you could probably, if you want, turn up the laughter at your bad shots to a maniacal level. That'll disquiet the other players,
Yeah, just wah, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, I feel like-
Right as they're trying to swing. And I'm like, oh, sorry, that was just my reaction to my own shot 5 minutes ago. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Continue.
maniacal laughter. That's the way to go.
I like it.
Or
It
it's
had
a
to
way to
be-
go.
it had to be like even extra difficult for you starting like the score golf stuff because you're entering a male dominated sport in broadcasting, in sports broadcasting, which is already so male dominated too. So what was that like to try to figure out and learn?
Yeah, it was all men, all men, or mostly men that I would come across. I mean, I'm really comfortable with guys. Like, I love working with guys. I love playing golf with guys. Like, that for me personally, like, wasn't a blip on my radar. But I did find out that me being a woman in golf ended up being more meaningful than I thought, because my brain wasn't thinking on that level. And then I realized not only being a woman, but also like kind of a rookie at golf, I sort of realized partway through I can start writing about being like sort of more of an everyman in golf, because a lot of the writers are good golfers. They golf for a long time and they really pride themselves on their golf game. They play on really prestigious courses. And I was like, oh, people think I'm like that. They see my pictures on amazing courses and they probably think I was so good. Like, people thought I was really good at golf. But really on the weekends, like, my boyfriend and I would go to all the municipal courses and really enjoy playing like par 3, shitty little places. And we love that. And we like going to just like the range and not taking it too seriously. So I was like, oh wait, I'm kind of misrepresenting myself. And maybe that's sort of my niche in golf, is like, here's how to get better. Here's how to confidently show up in order to get better at golf. And because I think a lot of people assume that everyone's good at golf, which is hilarious.
Right.
So many guys
two of the
are-
four, so I'd say 3 of the 4 people in this chat right now are pretty bad.
How dare you say that about me?
That was actually, the funny thing is, I felt like I shouldn't include you, but then I did, because Nick's way better than us. So I apologize, but
Oh no.
I just want you to know you're one of us.
Oh, man, thanks guys. Thanks. But like, isn't that the camaraderie that like that's what people enjoy about golf the most, I would say. And I think for people who don't golf, they're like, everyone's so good who plays, you must have to be good to play. And I'm like, no way.
No way.
So many bad golfers out there.
Although I'll take objection to that, Darryl. I'm only a bad golfer when you compare me to humans. If you include animals, I'm quite good. I moved way up the chain of, I'm top 1%, maybe, if you add all the animals.
I hope when we edit this video, we can find a squirrel that golfs really good or something. And
A squirrel with a
video
6
of-
handicap. I did not expect to be proven wrong by this, but the animals much better than I thought.
And then the next time you're trying to buy some shoes, a squirrel driving a golf cart just rams you from behind. It's perfect.
Right into the fountain at the Scarborough Town Center again.
Again. I'm going to the mall, man.
Well, like, now that it's such a big part of your life, what's the off season like for you? Are you traveling to destinations and playing golf and thinking about writing stuff, or are you just taking the season off and focusing on other things?
Yeah. I like to get strong. Like, I am sort of I have a fitness obsession. And then when I realized how much it was benefiting my golf game, I do now think about during the winter, like doing twisting moves, like adding to my upper body strength was a huge win for me in terms of my golf swing, because I could just kind of keep it steadier. and like my hand strength even from lifting weights improved. So I wasn't all like wobbly
flimsy,
with the
right.
clubs. So I found sort of things that I didn't have naturally that I ended up building really benefited me. But in terms of the show, like the pandemic killed SCOREGolf TV.
Oh, it did. Okay. We were wondering about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's too
so
bad.
that is no longer. But I do write stories for SCOREGolf in
Cool.
the magazine still, and that's more if they have something that they think I would enjoy writing about, or that they're curious or like want me to write, or if I hear of a cool golf story, then I will pursue it and then sort of pitch it to them. So it's great. It's basically just like being a freelance writer now.
That's
It's
great.
amazing that Canadian television managed to kill a sports show about the sport that grew out the most in popularity during COVID.
I know, it's like the only thing that was happening at the time. And but all the advertisers pulled because they got really scared. And so right from the get-go, we didn't have a show. And then it was all about, well, then it was so strange because, yeah, you're right. Like golfing became so popular and they were the one things that could stay open. But we were like, well, we can't get back on air. Sad.
What were the advertisers so scared about?
Losing money. Well, yeah, what were they so scared about? Yeah, exactly. I guess just not having the production abilities to make the show, there's that. Everything was just sort of put on pause, and then they really reevaluated what they put their money into as the pandemic went. It was like, oh, well, everything's digital, which is understandable. But I feel like Canadian broadcasting did take a hit on some level.
Well, that's too bad. That doesn't. Canadian broadcasting doesn't need any extra hits.
No, it's truly like hanging by a string, and that's why. And even, ScoreGolf sold to Tourstar during that time also, so the ownership changed over, and so there's been like some bumpy getting used to that as well that happened during the pandemic. So I think it was just sort of the perfect storm, but absolutely Canadian broadcasting, like barely hanging on. It's rough.
Well, I am a subscriber to the Toronto Star, so I could put in a word over there.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
That's good. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I'm confused because I tried to cancel mine, and then they said, how about $1.29 a month? And I said, okay, I'll give you $1. It was that desperation that I'm like, you can have $1.29 a month. But
Yeah,
isn't that enough to keep ScoreGolf on the air? $1.29.
It should. I got all my clothes for free. What else could there possibly be?
You're already wardrobed. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Wardrobed?
I think
She's got
so.
clothes already. Yeah,
Sounds right.
Okay, before we get into the par 5 questions, I want to know the state of your game and like what you like working on. So you go to the range with your boyfriend. What do you enjoy working on the most? Which part of your game?
Okay, lately it's been chipping because it's hard, and I've had some rounds where I can get it pretty consistent. Oh, a big part of this, let me just mention, is that we moved to Calgary during the pandemic with plans to get back to Toronto, but my whole family's here and we needed, all the support. So yeah, but we have a little backyard, actually a long and skinny. So we were chipping in the backyard last summer. And I felt like that repetition was really helping me. And in my first round of the year, I'm proud to say I accomplished most chips to an okay level.
Very nice. Darryl, didn't
You've learned some technical terms too over the
Yeah.
pandemic.
I'm a little rusty on the golf.
What was that?
Darryl,
Nick?
weren't you a backyard? Didn't you hit balls in your backyard?
I did, but I hit into a woods, the forest type thing.
Yes.
So our backyard was very narrow, but it was overlooking a field and then woods and then another field. So I could hit as far as I could without hitting anybody, unless they were walking through the woods, but then it's their own fault.
Yeah. Or did the squirrels hit them back?
I wish.
They're
That'd be
coming
so
after you.
awesome.
I get out there on the front lawn and hit some drives, let the neighborhood know.
Good for you.
Yeah. Listen, if somebody's shooting golf balls around here, I'm like, I don't know. You see where it went?
You see a woman in a golf cart.
One time I was at a course near the racetrack in Toronto, and me and my buddy decided to hit the balls at the train. There was a train coming by, and so we're like, oh, let's just try to hit this train with a drive, And so we cracked 2 of our best drives of the day, and the train left, and then we were just staring at a full-on residential neighborhood. So we were just launched 2 drives into a residential neighborhood.
You're like, we didn't know what was on the other side.
It's not our fault, officer.
Yes, listen, I was shooting at the train, but that's cool, no?
It's the lesser crime that you're owning up to.
Well, we thought some poor guy was going to come out like, who wants mojitos? And then he gets hit in the head and he goes onto the barbecue.
It's just like 3 little girls with a lemonade stand. You're like, oh no.
Yeah, it was so anyway, we tried to move it along quickly after that. We just we left that part of the neighborhood.
That's really good. Have you been back since?
I think I went back one time, but
Which course was that, Monty? Just so people that are listening know not to hit at the train because there's houses behind it.
What is it? Lakeside.
Oh, Lakeside, yeah.
Yeah, that's in Mississauga. It's just
Is
on
that the Muni in Mississauga, I think.
Yeah, just off of Dixon.
Yeah.
I got hit by a ball.
Were you on
nearby?
Were you on a train?
No, guys, I'm not joking. I got hit in my hand. Like, just
Really?
because the way that course is set up is it's pretty open and the tracks are fairly close together, or the fairways. And I was about to hit, and a ball came flying and hit my left hand, and it hurt. But I thought it was just my left hand.
Not the good one. I'm like, thank God it was the
Yeah,
left.
exactly. I'm like, I don't need that.
Did it hurt enough you had to go to the hospital?
No, it just bruised it. I had like a really bruised knuckle for a while. But yeah, I finished the round. It wasn't the end of the world, but I did yell.
How was your chipping after that? Was it all right?
At that point, it was really bad anyway. So it's like I just gained an excuse, I was like, oh, guys, didn't you see my hand get hit?
Kept pointing at the knuckle.
Like, with like a sad face. Yeah. That's
all right.
crazy. So
Let's do it. Let's get into the par 5.
So you're telling me this is a par 5?
Perfect.
That's my
Big
intro to
butter.
par 5.
That's the
It's nice to have a professional broadcaster here. This is,
just
We'd
to
hope
make
you
the
could
only
if you could critique this at the end, that would be
please.
really.
problem. I was saying, I love the intro, but if you could add like music after, it's like da-na-na-na,
I like that. Yeah, that's great.
just more goddamn editing for me. Thanks, Gina. I appreciate it.
Let's throw a Dracula on the end of that. It's the par 5.
Da-na-na-na.
Yeah.
There you have the music. She just made it. Can we copyright that?
Yeah, just put it on a loop.
I feel you're perfectly situated to answer this question, just given the travels and the experiences on the show, but your favorite golf course.
Okay, this one was a pretty easy one for me to come up with because I went to St. George, Utah. Twice actually I got to go, but I covered the Red Rock Golf Trail, which is essentially a ton of, not a ton, like maybe 6 golf courses along southern Utah, right along the most brilliant red cliffs you can imagine, with the greenest grass because they're pretty prestigious courses. And oh my gosh, like the views were just incredible. So my favorite one along that Red Rock Golf Trail was a place called Sand Hollow. And it's, oh my gosh, it's iconic. And we shot all day. It was like, we were in the blistering hot sun. And then they're like, do you guys want to play? And we were already so exhausted and we're just like, yes. And we played a full 18 holes. We walked it, which was crazy. And
was your golf cart license not international? Is that why you walked it?
Yeah, the US, not surprising. They're pretty not great about women having golf carts. So
The Supreme Court just took that away this morning.
oh, it's good to find a way to laugh about that.
It's not easy.
It's not. We found a way though. So look at us. Anyway, so this Sand Hollow in St. George, Utah, absolutely brilliant. And you're golfing along. Well, there are a number of different holes, like a huge variety of holes, but there are a few where you're right along the cliff. And there are these huge, because I come from the Rocky Mountains, right? I grew up in Alberta, so I really appreciate rocky landscape, I guess is the way. If it's not gonna be the Rocky Mountains, I love to see, the huge boulders and the incredible cliffs and everything from a different place. So that was my favorite.
This is we won't leave this in, but I wanted to show the guys this because I was actually watching your video here. Can you see that?
Yeah. So ugly.
That's Sand Hollow. And that was a tee shot that I didn't make. So
Oh wow, that's cool.
you have to hit, and you could drop right off the cliff if you're too far to the left. And my swing probably wasn't as good back then.
It's still pretty smooth.
Swing, yeah. That's not
Pretty
bad swing.
Yeah, and then
Wait,
that's
Is that the same course?
no.
Is
This is
there an ocean in Utah now?
Oh, you didn't know?
Well, I tell you, I'm also from near the Scarborough Bluff, so I also enjoy a cliff, and that's pretty beautiful.
Yes, it's gorgeous. I mean, the colors were unbelievable. When you just go, I mean, I'm such a landscape nerd. I could talk about different landscapes for forever. I don't know why, but I loved the natural, brilliant orangey red. I thought that was so crazy that nature could produce such a color, but as we know, nature can produce many colors.
Was there a moment while you were there that you're just like, Jesus Christ, I'm getting paid to be here. This is insane.
All the time at SCOREGolf. Even some of the courses we were at in Ontario were just mind-blowing. And then, you're golfing with maybe we interview the head pro, right? They'll tell us about the golf course, their favorite holes, the design, maybe we'll interview the designer. And then they'd be like, great, so we're gonna head up to the patio and we can all have lunch. And it's just like, oh, wow. And then we just sit out on this beautiful patio and get to overlook this gorgeous course. And it was truly the most privileged I've ever felt, for sure, in anything I've done in broadcasting so far.
That's an awesome job, doing something like that. I mean, I used to work in an office one time, and I seriously thought about hiding in the drop ceiling. So imagine you're at a beautiful course having lunch. That is the way to do it.
Monty just hiding in the drop ceiling, having his lunch.
Yeah.
I can picture it. I can see it.
Keep the boss off your ass. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. He's in the building. We can't get him out, really. He's in there.
He's stuck. He's there now.
He's in the ceiling.
I can't believe it. I'm in a drop ceiling. What a life. Monty's
wow.
got.
Monty in a drop ceiling. Oh my God.
Future Juno nominated comedian in a drop ceiling in an insurance company.
Yeah, it's like, no, I think he's hiding. I don't know. He's hiding. He likes it in there. I think he brought some files in there, actually.
He's underwriting as we speak. Okay, Gina, question number 2. You can put together your ideal foursome with the caveat no PGA or LPGA players, and it could be anyone alive or dead. Who is rounding out your foursome?
Okay, this was the toughest question for me to figure out, because at first I was like, the parameters are so huge, right? I was like, okay, even if they don't play golf, I was like, David Bowie, like just like people that I just.
We've heard Mother Teresa, but for some reason David Bowie's even stranger for me. I don't know why.
Right?
Ziggy Stardust on the first tee.
Those platform shoes, it would just be amazing.
It would would seriously be amazing. And his whole perspective on golf, like, what would that be about? Like, who knows? He's making like some crazy predictions about the future. I can't picture it. And so for that reason, I was very entertained, but also just because I was like, who would I want to spend 4 hours with? Right.
Totally.
Okay, but my answer is going to be, and I don't mean to promote another podcast on your podcast, and for that reason, I am sorry, but one of my favorite podcasts right now is Smartless, and it's hosted by Will Arnett, Sean Hayes, and Jason Bateman.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to say Joe Rogan. And then I'm like, where are we going now?
Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, and no, I listen to Smartless too. It's fantastic, actually. It's really good.
It's so good, right? And then they often talk about golf because Will Arnett, Jason Bateman are avid golfers. And so I was thinking for comedians and, you know, us in the entertainment industry, I'm like, who would I enjoy golfing with the most? Get a lot out of it, probably in terms of like chatting about the industry and getting their insight and advice, but also just having the best time. So I would choose them, and then I would probably choose a female comedian that I really admire. So either Julia Louis-Dreyfus, maybe Tina Fey, or Amy Schumer. I'd choose one of them to just round out that.
Also,
foursome.
don't feel the need to apologize of promoting. They're not getting a bump in listeners from this podcast.
Yeah.
There's no, they're fine.
Well, I don't know. I was thinking about just starting to listen to it right now while we finish this.
Just like have one earbud in. It's like what's going on.
I'm going the other right. I've publicly accused them of siphoning our listeners.
Yeah, you
Really?
really should. You really
So you want who? Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and then one of the three who are on a wait list now to get into this foursome.
Yeah, no, I think I would say Julia Louis-Dreyfus because she is just my favorite of all time. So I'd choose her as well. Because basically, I just want to, golf is all about who do you want to hang out with for 4 hours, right? And so a lot of comedians, I mean, it's really awesome to meet you guys. And I know only a few others comedians that enjoy golf and play golf regularly. And I think because it's a bit inaccessible, or people think it is, they don't want to spend the money. And let's be honest, Canadian comedy is like Canadian broadcasting. It's a little cheap, right?
Yes.
So the ability to play with comedians, just the best. That'd be so fun.
Yeah, I play with these two a lot. It's okay.
Right? Yeah.
It's a lot more arguing who's going to pay for the drinks and whatnot. It gets awkward.
I'm trying to increase my maniacal laughter, and I'm going to turn up the excitement.
Yeah.
Is the best non-human golfer alive. Okay, Gina, I don't know if you do drink on the golf course, but on a hot summer day, you're at the 8th hole. What are you ordering from the bar cart?
Okay, I do drink on the golf course. I can have like max 2 before my game starts going so downhill and out of control. So, and I like to go for a light, easy drinking beer. And often I reach for the Coors Light or the Bud Light. I just want something easy. I don't want the hoppiness. I just like getting those kind of trashy beers. It brings me joy.
One at a time?
Yeah, generally.
I don't know.
She's got a helmet on with 2 beers.
That would be amazing. You could only handle 2 beers, but you drink them at the same time. Just pound them back and be like, all right, that's enough.
That's how she got it in the hand. She was actually putting a new beer into her beer holder.
It's like, oh, maybe that's why I can't golf after. Oh.
Too fast, eh? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I like it.
So that's it. You cut yourself off after the second beer?
Yeah, well, while I'm playing, yeah, I often do. And I'll have like a water. It's good to stay hydrated. So lame to say, but so true, you know? And then I'm not so desperate feeling after the round and I feel like I'm going to die because I'm dehydrated, which happens often. So
you're allowed to drink water and beer at the same time.
At the same, with the same set.
No, well, you can have, there's always 2 cup holders for every seat in a golf cart. One for a beer, one for a water, I always assumed.
She's only got 2 hands, Darryl. Leave her be.
There's a lot to take in, Darryl.
These are the kind of golf tips I like to give.
Yeah, very good. Very good. I like it.
Question number 4 is about sort of emotions on the golf course, and we've already sort of heard that you've got pretty good emotional like approach to golf. What's either the angriest that you've ever seen someone on the golf course, or if you haven't seen someone angry, how do you stop from losing it when things go wrong?
Yeah, like when I get frustrated on the golf course, it turns into this really, like you said, maniacal, but it's a little like I get really what's the word? Like I start making fun of myself absolutely ruthlessly, and it's embarrassing, right? And like as comedians, you're just like oh yeah, I'll just say jokes over and over, and that's how I'll deal with this. And so I'll just start being really loud about how terrible I am. And that is embarrassing behavior, and also hard to like kind of pull yourself back and just be like, shut up, Gina.
Right.
So I've like had a few moments like that. Absolutely. It's not like I can keep it cool. But
Can you
like
give an example of something you've said?
Oh my gosh. This one time I was golfing with, okay. So let me set it up as like at SCOREGolf, you're not just golfing with the people that you work with or the pros at the golf course. Sometimes I would get invited to these events where I was literally in a foursome with Doug Carrick, the designer of the Osprey Valley course.
Oh my God.
And so I was playing with Jason Logan, Doug Carrick, and oh gosh, I forget who else. And then the heads of TSN were there. There were some Olympians there that day. Like we're talking like a crowd that, I mean, for all intents and purposes, like I do not belong, like I should not be here, but I have to get myself into that mental game of like, no, you deserve to be here. But golfing with the designer, holy. So I kept making this joke every time I messed something up. So say like I hit it off, like I hit a really bad drive and then it hit a tree. And so the first time I made this joke, I was like, who put that tree there? Right.
Good one.
And so,
Classic.
yeah, right. Cause the designer's right there. And then he's like, the first time he's just like, and then we go to the second hole. And then I'm just like, who put that waterfall in the middle of the fairway? Who does? Why would you put this bunker here? Oh my gosh, this is a real, like, I started just going off because I didn't know how to reel it in.
And I just think it just kept getting worse and worse. How fucking small is your dick that you'd put a fucking tree here?
What are you compensating for?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty obvious you can't satisfy your wife, and you can't even satisfy this hole.
Legit. It was so, and he's such a nice man, like, and he was funny and super gracious with just me saying that same joke in different ways for all 18 holes. And I did not play well. I also didn't putt well. And I remember at the end of the day that one of the people who saw me putting decided to come up in the middle of the dinner and be like, hey, Gina. And this is like a journalist event. He's like, hey, Gina, let me just quickly give you a putter lesson. And
During dinner.
During dinner. And the guys that I work with were just like their jaws dropped because and I think it is a sexist thing, but like these situations would happen to me all the time where just the men could not hold back from giving me all the advice. And I actually don't mind when people give me advice. I'm like, of course, you're the designer of the course. Why would I not listen to you? But when a random comes up to me and is just like, so Gina, when you're putting, everybody just stop. I'm just going to give Gina a lesson that she needs. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I would just like to publicly apologize for the water and beer comment earlier. I don't know why I was giving you tips. You're terrible.
Darryl, how do I do it? And how do I hold something? I don't quite, I can't wrap my head around it.
That's the beauty of a golf cart. It holds it for you.
Okay, I'll try to remember that next time. Thank you, Darryl. Thank you, Darryl.
I don't care how you putt. Couldn't give a fuck about that. But just, keep that water handy.
Gina, you've got the style of my buddy Rob. We used to play poker back in the day, and he would relentlessly self-bad talk himself, like in his hands. He's like, oh, I'm so stupid. I don't know what I'm doing. Just look at, and I was like, Rob, it's distracting. Your constant bad mouthing yourself is distracting to me. I'm trying. It's like, I don't know why I'm so stupid. Oh God, I'm so stupid.
Right?
Yeah. I was like,
Gets like really wrapped up. You're like, did everyone see how bad that just was? And everyone's like, no, shut up. He's trying to tee off. Shut up.
oh my God, that was ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, is this some sort of advanced betting strategy he's using on me? Like, I'm like, I can't believe I'm so stupid that I've done this for.
Yeah, meanwhile, Gina's out there shooting a 76 while she's doing this.
Just bad mouthing herself.
Yeah. Oh God, no. I'm excited to just get under 100. That's what I want. I want rounds under 100 this year. So I'm not a great scoring golfer by any means.
Well, they say 100. A lot of people, a low percentage of golfers break 100. Apparently.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know the number, but it's like a shockingly high number. Don't.
Yeah, and I think I believe that, because the more people I play with and the different types of people, I'm like, there's not that many people who can score real well in golf.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently not. And then if you add the squirrels,
all bets are off. The stats
yeah.
way out of line.
Move yourself way up in the echelon of things.
Okay, question number 5, the last question. Your favorite golf moment, either personally or on TV, or I guess it could be both for you because you've been on TV talking about golf. So what's your favorite golf moment?
Oh my gosh, this was tough too, because again, that job was just so incredible. And I really enjoyed interviewing players. That was really fun. And I also learned that working in sports just means sports are emotional, right? Like yes, you can talk about someone's game or the stats or whatever, the technicalities of golf, but that's not really what I was there for in SCOREGolf, because I wasn't that type of person. And so I had some really great discussions with some good golfers. And oh my gosh, one time I was talking to Lori Kane, who is a legendary Canadian golfer. And the LPGA had just come down with these really draconian rules about what women could wear on the golf course. And while
I remember this.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I totally do.
I want to say it was like 2018, maybe. Yeah, something around there. And so one of the rules, as an example, was that, like, because I don't remember all of them and I don't want to get misquoted, but it was something about the deepness of the neckline. So it had to be a certain length, which is so weird when you think about different people's bodies. Like it becomes irrelevant, right? For a woman with double D breasts, that's going to look awfully different than a woman with not much. Also, people have different lengths of torsos. I mean, there's just like all these hilarious, very real reasons why that rule is dumb. And so I just happened to be, I think it was at oh gosh, I don't remember the exact event, but it was an LPGA event. So I was like, oh, this is a great time. I'm going to ask Lori Kane, who has been through everything in golf. I mean, she's been there from the beginning of when women were even allowed to compete, basically. And so we were laughing at this rule, and all my SCOREGolf guys, like there's the producer and then there's the guy filming it. And then there was another producer there, and we were recording. And then we just kept talking like, well, what's the equivalent for men? And we start going like, well, what if, okay, some men wear like real tight pants. What if we start measuring the bulge in their pants? What if we start just going, there needs to be this much material on either side. And when they sit, it has to be a certain, we just start going off. And oh my gosh, the guys that I worked with were just like, are we still rolling? Like, what is happening? And Lori Kane was laughing so hard. And then I saw her years later, and she just goes, remember the bulge? And I was like, the bulge. Just nice to have those moments with golfers who are often so, because it's such like the events are so sponsored and they're often scared to say the wrong thing and very kind of zipped up in their personalities. I mean, it's a little bit different in the last few years, but it was really nice to kind of crack them and get them talking about other things.
If we can stay on this, I would like to see some kind of rule where men with really big bellies and very flat asses put some kind of padding in in the back, because I find it very
Yes.
distracting to watch them play when they're like really fat and with no bum, and I'm like, I'm terrified that's what I look like, first of all, and then that's all I can think about for the whole time.
Like, how do they not fall over? You know, it's all like very front bearing weight.
I
Yeah.
know. I spend a lot of time looking at those guys, wondering what. Yeah, I shouldn't say I'm looking at them, but you know
I
what I
was
mean.
gonna say, very
Sounds
distracting.
like you
Darryl.
are. Sounds like you are.
Well, I've been playing golf since like 1985 or something, and that's something right off the bat. I'm like, I don't even understand what that body is. I don't.
Well, I've been looking at guys' asses since the early 80s.
We have that in common. We have that.
That's the real reason he in the ceiling just wants to check out guys' asses.
I'm like, I don't have
It's so funny now though, because more and more professional golfers are so fit. Have you guys noticed this over the last like 6 years?
I mean,
They
we've noticed it. Daryl's really noticed it.
Yeah.
Well, I can understand their pants. That's the thing. I don't have to watch because I understand there's reasons the pants stay there. Yeah.
You can relax to watch now.
Yeah, they're in great shape. And it's like all we got left is like dart players, I think.
Yeah.
That
Curlers are in great shape now. Like it's just
Yeah.
everybody. This is
So
it's not
weird.
right. It's not
It's
right.
so right. Where I miss like the days of the cigarette hanging out of the mouth and the beer bellies. It's just a different time. But women weren't allowed to play back then, so maybe.
Not until you came along, Gina. And changed everything
It
for them.
changed the world.
I
In fact, we have a video montage of some of Canada's greatest female golfers thanking you for everything you've done for them.
if the next generation can come off my shoulders and
Yes.
walk into a better world.
my shoulders, you know, they're just so heavy from the weight of carrying all these women. Oh,
You know, Gina,
exhausting.
maybe if you could just say a little announcement to all the women who follow you to maybe drink water while they play golf. It might really help people stay hydrated.
Right. Well, the first thing I'm going to tell them is that there's 2 cup holders. That's going to be women need to know.
Get that out
Although I
there.
will say, one of those cup holders, you can put your phone in there pretty good too. So that's something to think about.
Actually, I probably always have my phone in one of them. And that's why I literally think I can't drink 2 beverages. Have the phone ready. Got to post to Instagram.
Somebody get it in the newsletter.
Yeah, exactly. Bring
Do
the
you-
show back just so I can talk about it.
Do you have anything to promote? I know you wrote an article somewhat recently.
Yeah, it was so good about Irene Crowchild.
Thank you. Yes. Oh my gosh. I just messaged her because she's like, hey, one day you should come by Golf Future where I hit balls most days and I'll teach you how to hit really hard. And I was like, yep, gonna do that. Gonna absolutely do that. Like a long drive champion giving me tips. Yep. So we actually might do that this week, which I'm very
Wow.
Her swing
Awesome.
is just crazy. It's so
The
much
torque.
power behind it. Is just
gosh. I was like with her when we were doing the photos for that spread, and she rocked the booth that we were in. It was like everything would shake and your ears would just like your eardrums would kind of do this like bounce. It was nuts. I mean, she's so talented. So for people who don't know, she's on Satina First Nation Reserve. She's an Indigenous golfer, two-spirited, and just really breaking down barriers. Here's a woman that's actually breaking down barriers. But has
did
like,
she thank you for everything?
yeah.
that-
It's like, you know, she's doing well because of me. No, it's really cool. I mean, she basically had no support because, well, there's no role model that she had that was similar to her, and so she's just been kind of carving her own path. Brands that support her are sort of pride friendly brands, not only, but partly kind of bringing them out of the woodwork a little bit, promoting their brands. Also different golf courses, trying to be more diverse and inclusive, inviting her out now. So it's really cool to see her get some momentum, but it's crazy because she is a 2-time national champion for long drive, and she represented Canada on the world stage. And yet she comes back, and for a long time she would show up to tournaments or like certain, you know, press things, and a lot of the people at the courses had no idea why she was there. They're like, she's not a she looks different than everybody. Like, they just could not wrap their heads around it. So when I say that I've gotten a few cues from people when I show up at the golf course that maybe I'm not welcome, I mean, here is someone who, because of who she is, truly shows up and is like, I don't even know if they're gonna let me in the front door. Like and she's a national champion. So I wrote about that and her whole journey, because she's very cool.
Yeah, she's someone I'd love to have on this, but I feel like Nick and I were talking about it earlier. I'd feel very odd. I think I followed her with our Twitter account, but she's a recovering alcoholic, and we're called Where's That Bar Cart? It's a weird.
Oh.
And I was like,
yeah.
should I have followed her? But I want to learn more about her. Like,
Well, maybe that could be the angle. You know, you
Sure.
could be like, alcohol is such a huge part of golf. So I want your perspective. How is it navigating? You know, I just talked about what makes her her and being an Indigenous and two-spirited, but oh my gosh, yes, most of my article is about her getting sober and staying sober. And it's one of the things she's most proud about. So I bet you could do a whole thing about how, is it difficult to be surrounded by that on the golf course? What are the challenges? How does she feel about it? Like, I think that'd be actually kind of cool.
we really appreciate you becoming our new story editor. This is great.
Yeah.
This is so good. You're opening doors for women. You're opening doors for us idiots. And
Well,
Yeah.
that podcast would dovetail well with some non-recovering alcoholics on the
Yeah.
podcast as well.
well, there's only 3 of us.
Yeah, we're here every week, Monty.
Yeah,
Gina,
true. Yeah, we're reoccurring.
this was so cool. of you
Yeah,
to
this was
do,
excellent.
and so generous with your time. You're awesome. Gina Louise Phillips. I watched your video comparing yourself to Gina Phillips, which was very, very funny. I really, really enjoyed it, and so people will put your name in the follows and hopefully get some more followers to you. But thank you so much. This was awesome.
Yeah.
Man, you were so fun.
And we'd love to play. If you guys ever move back to Toronto in this area, let us know, and we would love to get a round of golf. Maybe not at Lakeview, because it's traumatic for victims of Monty's golf and your hand.
Yeah.
We'll play Braeburn or something, the sister course. But
Exactly.
It's such
Well, I
a
would
delight
love
to
to-
talk to you, Gina. Nice to meet you.
Really nice to meet you guys. Yeah. And same, like if I'm back in Toronto, I want to come see you guys. Do you do live comedy?
Yeah, and
Yes.
you do live comedy as well. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do that as well. Got a
Okay,
lot-
we'll
Yeah,
just do a
definitely.
show, the 4 of us. We'll do
Let's
stand
do
up and you can do improv.
Just
Did you stand
solo-
up?
No, I don't do that. I don't. I mean, I've hosted comedy shows and things like that where it's sort of stand-up-esque, but no, I haven't just strictly done stand-up. Maybe one day. We'll see.
Well, yeah, let us know if you want to.
Our
We
first
can bring-
live
you out.
recording. We can have you.
Oh my God. You sure you want that?
We have a lot more to hear, I think. We hear.
definitely.
Yeah, I heard there's a lot of stories we didn't even hear.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
there are some good stories, lots of adventures for sure. You know, working all these different jobs, and my career has just taken me in so many random directions, but in the best way, because I love variety. So at the end of the day, it's very fun to have worked with all different types of people in different fields and things.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you
Sounds
so
great.
much. This was great.
Yeah, you were fantastic.
Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah. Well, I hope to talk to you all soon, and thanks for having me.
Definitely.
Awesome. Thanks, Gina.
Take care.
Thanks, Gina.
Bye.
Yeah.
Wow, that was Gina Louise Phillips. That was
My
a great
God,
episode.
That was
Jeez.
so much fun. We learned a lot. We learned about her journey into getting into golf by basically being cast on to be a broadcaster on a golf show.
It's almost like she did it backwards.
Yeah.
Like she should have been the
completely.
golfer and then the broadcaster, like
Right.
pretty much every golf broadcaster was,
Yeah.
but then she came back the other way.
No, she did it her way. She started the opposite direction.
Yeah, and a pioneer for female golf
For
in
women
Canada.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot
Yeah,
more
she's
gender talk
fantastic.
than I was expecting, but that was great actually. I love that. You know, it's
Well,
shitty.
yeah.
Also, all the fucking guys out there who golf who listen to this. I think if you're shitty and you golf, you probably don't listen to this. But if you're shitty and you golf and you listen to this, be nice to fucking women on the golf course for God's sakes.
Or
That's
just be nice to everybody,
Well,
women
sure, yeah.
especially, but you don't have to be, just because you can hit a ball further doesn't mean you're better,
Exactly. It's all
you
bullshit.
know,
I mean, it's
Yeah.
important to give as much advice as you can.
to yourself.
No, to the ladies in the world. Just keep giving advice. They love it.
Yeah, they love it. Unsolicited advice is the thing they live for.
Yeah.
Also, when they're playing, please tell them to smile. That was probably something they would enjoy. Don't be dicks, is what we're trying to say.
Exactly.
But one of the most important pieces of advice we got from that is that there is two drink holders in a cart.
That was
Remember
really
that?
that was not advice. That's just knowledge. I was passing on knowledge
That's got knowledge.
that I might have that other people don't.
Not everybody knows.
No. People
But-
might just think the second holder is just so you can throw some balls in there, but no, that's good. That'll fit a cup too.
It was
Separate
important
holder
for
balls.
I didn't know because I thought the second holder was none of my business.
But that was episode 10 of season 1 of Where's That Bar Cart. We'll be back at you guys next week. I hope you're all playing well out there. Yeah, that's it.
Keep it finely
Yeah,
free
thanks for
on the
listening.
side of the fairway,
God bless you, everyone.
and something distracted him.
All right. That was what the late Henry Longhurst used to call the tradesman's entrance.